folks, so now I'm going to show you how to solve an absolute value inequality. Alright, first of all, we're going to solve this to begin with to get our numbers, our answers like we did in an equation, but since we have absolute value bars, it's a little bit different, so we're going to go through what to do. So first of all, turn on your calculator. And when we solved an equation or an inequality before, remember we just took the left side and put it in y1. And we put, and I wanted to make that y1 blue because it's usually blue. And my y2 is going to be red. The only thing is, I'm sure most of you don't know where the absolute value bars are. So first of all, put it in y1 and y2. As usual, we're going to hit y equals on the calculator. And then to find the absolute value bars, let me write it down here. You go to math, then over to number. And there it is, math and number. And ABS with a parentheses at the top, that's your absolute value bars. So I go over to math. And then if you look here, I'm going to arrow over to number, and there's my ABS. And now that's my absolute value bars, and I can put inside 2x minus 5, 2x minus 5. And here's the tricky part. I have to put in that minus 3, I have to arrow over to get outside the bars, minus 3. Alright, now I'm going to put my right side, which is my 4, in y2. So there's my 4. And like usual, I hit graph. But this is going to look a whole lot different than our other one because we had two lines that crossed each other. And on this one, we have a big old V. Anything that graphs absolute value symbols, it graphs as a big old V looking thing. So the blue here, that's our absolute value part. And this is our equation of y equals 4. We have two answers on these because if you look, it crosses in two places. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the intersection for both those places. So same directions as before. I go to second and trace, and then I want to go to intersect. Alright, so second and trace and intersect. So I hit my second button, trace, and I want to go down to number 5 where they intersect. And if you look here, I'm going to find out this first intersection. So I got to move my cursor a little bit close. Sorry about my skylight, guys. To where the intersection is. I'm going to hit enter on the blue line, enter on the red line, enter again. And it should tell me my intersection there is -1. So that one point here where they cross, and I'll draw them here. Right here. Let me draw that second one. That's red, that's red. That point right there, my x is equal to -1. So it gives me one solution there. X is -1. And I got to find the other one, so I have to do the whole thing all over again. I have to go to second and trace. And I want to go down to number 5, which is intersect. But now I have to move over closer to this other point where they intersect over here before I hit enter. So on the blue line, on the red line, and guess. And it says that my x is, can we see it there? 6. If you can see that there, it's a little bit blurry. So my other one is x equals 6. So now I know those are my 2 points when I graph it on the number line. So if I draw my number line here, I know I'm going to have something going on at -1 and at 6, and I know those are going to be open dots because there's no line underneath this. So now I need my shading. Remember how we do that? We go to y equals again, and I'm going to clear this out, and this time I'm going to put the whole thing, absolute value bars included. So remember, to get my absolute value bars, I go to second, number, and ABS. So now I don't go to second number, I go to math and number and ABS. And this time I'm going to put the absolute whole thing in. So I put in 2x minus 5, and I have to arrow over to get outside, and I'm minus 3. Then remember I had to do second and math to get my inequality, which was less than, and then I put a 4. And then all I had to do was hit graph. And you'll notice that at the -1, that's when my blue is above the x-axis, so that's where I shade. So I actually shade in between those numbers. So that's what my shading looks like on that absolute value inequality. And you can do the same thing with greater than, exact same procedure. So that's how you use your calculator to solve an absolute value inequality and to graph it.